Police brutality is a matter that should be taken serious and should be stopped because of its effects towards the United States and its people. Police brutality in the United States is one of the main factors that have managed to keep the doors open of racism against immigrants and across the globe from African Americans doors open. It has been a problem against immigrants and African Americans since the mid-1800s. And the first ever reported victim of police brutality was in 1857 in New York City. Even though in today's world, it seems that as we have managed to put aside the differences we had, the color of skin we had, but still see that police brutality is still lurking in the dark, waiting to hit its next victim. As I said, the first ever victim of police brutality in New York City was recorded in 1857. The reason why this person was unfortunately the first victim was because of one of the two main reasons this happened, which is racism, which was his case due to the fact that he was shot just because he was an immigrant. As it says in the New York Times, he was an Irish immigrant known as Sailor Jack, and in 1857 he became the first recorded victim of police brutality in New York City, when an officer with dislike for immigrants killed them. The second is, in many cases, police officers beat the victims using unnecessary force in order to gain more reputation and rank, and in knowing that the victim had no proof or evidence that he did not resist or do anything towards the cop. The officer proceeds in putting false claims such as he resisted or I saw a weapon, to make it more believable that he had a reason for unnecessary force. In the time that Sailor Jack was killed, there was nothing that we could do versus a cop that was using police brutality. It was a random person's word versus the word of a law enforcer, which swore to protect the people. Not that we live in an era where the internet is our friend and everyone has a recording device on their phones via the built-in camera. This means recording everything is key to fighting against police brutality and letting everyone know through social media to expose their actions. Police brutality is affecting the society in which we live in by destroying our rights as Americans. It consumes our rights and picks out our future as prisoners for the sole reason of power and control. Control is a factor because law enforcement feels that in order to have control in a bad neighborhood, they must put fear in our eyes and let it be known that we have no power. Power is also a factor due to the fact that the more power we give the law enforcement, the often police brutality will be viewed as an act of normality and not as abnormality. Police brutality should be stopped, and if not stopped, it will continue to spread and continue to fall under law enforcement. Thank you. Yeah.
So, ladies first.
Okay, I felt like you were hearing us, not like telling us, and I couldn't relate, or I didn't feel like I could relate to your speech. And I feel like we were getting more examples from you. And there was no eye contact there, just like you had your head down and reading straight from the paper. Didn't take a break to notice your audience. You kind of lost, well, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but you kind of lost.
I felt kind of similar to what she felt. Fernand. You didn't have much eye contact, and you was kind of reading off the paper, so I wanted more like eye contact and like less reading off the paper. And I feel like you should have added like some emotion to it, like maybe like I don't know. If you ever had experience with that, police brutality, you should have added that experience and let us know how you felt. You know, you could have like add like we would have like more. I don't want to say it. Concern, like more important. You know what I'm saying? But it was alright, man.
I think the information you gathered was good information, especially as far as history goes. Is the part of the first recorded incident of police brutality in New York. I thought that was amazing information, 'cause something I've never known. I learned that today from you. I don't want to chime or run you over with Ferdinand and Robert have already said about your eye contact. Basically you read it into the paper. So I guess if you would have held it up or put it at a glance, that would have been better. Even though you're sitting right next to him, And I was waiting for the connection of why police brutality was your topic of discussion, and I was hoping to hear about, as you said, you've experienced it, and second to Robert's comment, if you would have put that in your speech, that would have kept Ferdinand's attention, because that would have explained to her why you were giving this speech. It didn't have to come straight off the bat. It could have came somewhere in the transition to let them know, even after you gave the history of recorded police brutality, and you said, well, I've experienced it myself. So Ferdinand would have been like, oh, okay, now I see, where this is leading to. So even though you gave the history, even like one of the examples, the girl with the dog, everyone's like, well, why are we looking at a dog? But you saw it led to something else. It led to art. So that would have been a great transition. So I guess if you could add that in there, it would have been really good.